Each week we listen to an album, here's our mind. Just know it's gonna take about 3 hours of your time to hear us complain or praise each other's taste. But no matter what, at the end of the day, we're just best friends who love different music. We are earbuds, earbuds, earbuds. This is Earbuds.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Earbuds. If you're watching this on YouTube, first of all, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. Tell us everything you're thinking about. We want to know, we really do. Good or bad, good or bad. And if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, but you think that's your only option, no. Find us on all podcast platforms and follow us there. You can download the audio-only episodes and listen to them on your way to freaking work, baby.
Oh my God! This is Earbuds.
Hi, everybody. My name's Landon. This is my good friend.
I'm Joey.
And this is the podcast that you know and love called Earbuds. Earbuds, Earbuds. This is the show where one time I bring an album that I like to my friend who maybe has heard it, maybe he hasn't.
Right.
And then that week, and then the next time he brings an album that he likes that maybe I've heard or I haven't. And then we discuss it at length. We've already listened to the album. We're not going to fully go through the album and react to it.
This is not a reaction video, and it's also a weird album to do a reaction video.
I know you're imagining.
Whoa! Did he just say that?
But no. In our pursuit of this musical journey, we have found stuff that I'm over here in my fringe area of my interests. He's over here in his fringe area of his interests. But many times we find ourselves here in the inverted butt cheek of earbudness. Because on the Venn diagram, you have the left butt cheek and the right butt cheek.
Yes.
That's where we are. But in the inverted butt cheek in the middle.
Yeah, where the butt cheeks, there it is.
Yeah.
The butt cheeks overlap.
That's the inverted butt cheek.
Right.
And that is the inverted butt cheek of earbudness. And someday we'll have a sticker or something of that phrase so you can put it on your Cybertruck. But until then,
The IBC of EB.
But until then, no, we're just discussing an album this week.
Yeah.
Last week you brought us RTJ.
Yes, Run the Jewels 2.
RTJ.
From the Run the Jewels boys.
We did that and we had fun with that, didn't we? We liked
awesome.
that. I think that was squarely in the inverted butt cheek.
Yeah, I think so. Sounds like it.
I think so. And
Sounds like it.
and that led me to pick, and I said, this is one of my favorite voices. Just voices. Purely voices in the history of music.
Oh, I wanted to say two things. Please let me... No, wait. Maybe I should add a mea culpa to the end of the last episode.
That's not happening.
We could record it.
Okay. What?
Well, no, we'll still do that. But I wanted to say, I looked into the 10th anniversary record. The verses on the song.
Yeah.
You have to listen to the album to know
Last week's.
You have to listen to last week's episode to know what I'm talking about, but that verse is on the album.
Oh.
Someone said, I listened to it and checked, and they said, you made sure? And they go, I only listened to that song so far just to check. And everyone's like, oh, thank you.
That's good to know, though.
That's on there. And I also wanted to say, hold on. Wait for it. Oh, I said, this is what Genius was made for. Rap songs.
Right.
Well, it used to be called Rap Genius.
Rap Genius, yeah.
So,
that's what it was
I hate
for.
sounding like a stupid idiot going,
Well,
I think
that's
that's what they made this for.
So anyway, yes, I bring Otis Redding. I say this is one of my favorite voices in the history of music. And I think you just in the history of music, you can see how we get from the sort of blues soul rock thing of the pre to civil rights era, where we're starting to get black artists into the sort of, they're transcending just their little niche. They're starting to be allowed to be listened to more outwardly.
And then you get into eventually hip hop. And I thought it would just be interesting to see.
It makes it easier to bear.
Who is this? Who is this voice?
What?
It's not a trick question. Who's singing this song?
It's Otis.
But
Well, listen to this.
hold on.
Sounds so soulful, don't you agree?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And that's even he goes directly into the samplings of what we know as hip hop.
That's right. And I think there are, and we don't have to do it as like, we don't have to strictly talk about it in that way. I don't think we should. And by the way, I also want to say,
here's another one. What did you want to say?
I want to say maybe my own mea culpa in that I think last week I was like, well, I shouldn't be talking about hip hop because I'm white or whatever. That's
Right.
not what I was. I think I said it fine, but I just want to reiterate. It's not that we're not allowed to talk about this. I'm just saying my specific experience has been not one that has really partaken of hip hop or hip hop culture because of my status as a white guy from the Midwest. It's just never been that for me. So I don't need people in the comments. Maybe I should add this to last week's episode too.
Yeah.
Being like, you don't have to say this stuff anymore because we ended woke.
Right.
But it's not about that even. And I hate you if you say that, for one. But I despise you, in fact. But that's not it. I'm just saying, like, as a person commenting on stuff, that's my perspective.
Yeah. And it's out of your purview of what you
Yeah.
are knowledgeable. And I'd also like to ask that you don't clip the video of this if you're watching on YouTube where when he was saying I should apologize for that and where I started putting my coat on. It wasn't that I'm leaving, I just was cold again.
Yeah.
So
I think I am cold again. But no, so yes, Otis has been sampled on many a hip hop track, yes.
Sure.
And what's your, how do you know Otis Redding?
Well, I do know that song by the artist formerly known as Ye, who needs some help with Jay-Z on their album Watch the Throne. Right. But other than that, I mean, Dock of the Bay is sort of, I feel like you just hear it everywhere.
Yeah,
it
everyone
seeps
knows.
into your conscience.
Everybody knows that song.
I've heard his stuff. I've never listened to it. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
Now it also falls. So this album came out in '68. It sort of falls into you go to like an old ice cream stand or like a Portillo's where their whole thing is like remember
the good old
stuff
days.
used to be better back then when you just were working on your car or whatever. And so I've heard it through that.
Sure, you hear just stuff.
Casey Kasem from Beyond the Grave going,
He's still-
at number 7, we've got Mr. Otis Redding. So that's about it. I've never owned any of his records.
Sure.
I've never been in the car at home and go, let me put on
a little
Big
O. That was one of his nicknames, I think.
Yeah.
Now, the history of Otis Redding is, of course, he's one of these gone too soon. He becomes kind of a big deal. Well, he grows up in the South, of course. He does that. Father was a preacher.
Does that
type of thing. Comes up in the church singing gospel music. Starts to write his own stuff. Goes to Stax Records, which is like a white guy who starts a record company in the sort of deep black South. And they're just kind of a little collective of like, and I've watched documentaries about this and stuff where they're like, everyone, like, outside, white people hated us. Inside, we were all family. And it just seemed like kind of a cool artistic little community. where they would just be writing songs together and stuff. And then Otis becomes kind of popular because he's just kind of he's got something different about him. He sings with that sort of passion that maybe other people can't have or don't have. He's a handsome man. He's a big, tall guy. He moves around on stage. He's just got that thing. The it factor, folks say.
Yeah.
He starts playing rock venues, which was kind of unheard of for like a soul singer because he's kind of playing rock music. And then he tours like England. They go over there and their whole band, black guys and white guys, they're all like, we've never been treated better than when we went there, because like the Beatles love Otis Redding, Rolling Stones, all those guys like come and hang out backstage because they love the music that that Otis and his band are putting out. And they're like, at home, like some people like us, white people hate us. We come here and there's like the sort of subculture movement of like hippie stuff going on over there more so before it comes over here. So they're like, everyone's coming to the shows. The Beatles let them use their limousine. Just like treated great. Then they come back and they start to get more success here. He buys like a ranch. He becomes a country guy. All before he's like, he dies when he's 26.
Yeah.
He's all of this, buys his own plane, buys his giant ranch where he raises horses and like has 3 kids and a wife. And then, yes, goes on tour again. Well, actually, one of the things is he had like polyps in his throat or whatever, so he had to have surgery. So he couldn't talk or sing for like 6 weeks, and he wrote a bunch of songs. So that's what's actually, some of those are on here, because I think he only does like 3 albums, 3 or 4, not including live albums, before he dies. And then after that, he's got like 3 or 4 big posthumous ones, and then it seems like every year they release a new, like the immortal Otis Redding, or like new remasters of stuff. But those first few, including Dock of the Bay, are like this big session that he had before going out on tour after his surgery, where they did like, I think they said 26 songs in a week, but they were just banging out songs because he had so many. And that's just kind of cool. But then he goes on tour. They tell him, Otis, after this great show, he's going to fly to Milwaukee. They tell him, Otis, you can't. It's too dangerous. We can't fly tonight. And it's the classic sort of big bopper thing where like, well, 2 people can't get on the plane, so they take a different plane. And of course they survive because Otis's plane goes down. He said he'd never missed a show before, and he's not going to miss one this time either. Well, of course he did. Because the plane went down into the water. One guy survived. And I think he couldn't swim, so he was like just trying to survive as he's like seeing all of his friends drowning. Just crazy stuff that used to happen.
Yeah.
And it happens now.
Good it doesn't happen anymore.
We solved airplane casualty and crashes 60 years ago, and they've unfortunately reared their ugly head, much like measles.
Can you imagine being that guy who, I think I read, it was like he just buckled his, or didn't have his seatbelt. There was something.
Yeah.
And then you wake up to someone going, oh no.
Yeah.
And then everyone, all your bandmates, everyone, like they all die.
Yeah.
Except for you.
Crazy.
And you're struggling out in some lake somewhere.
Yeah. You don't know what's happening.
So that's screwed up for that guy. But like you said all before, also he dies at 26, and that's wild.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of the great sort of like what could have been, because that's why I also picked this album. I think it's the kind of the album for him because it does have Dock of the Bay, which is kind of everyone knows that song. But I think too, it's kind of shows what he was maybe going to do more of. Like he had just written Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and everyone was like, wow, this is something completely different from him. This is cool. And then, yeah, he died. So just one of those interesting sort of, dang, that's too bad. But like I said, they still capitalize on on his name every year with a new release, which is fine. Hey, his wife seems fun. She's still around. All of his kids are like, yeah.
How
my
many
dad
kids
was
did
cool.
he have?
I think 3.
He was 26. It just shows you how different stuff was.
Yeah, and just that, like, some documentary I watched, his wife was like, yeah, he would go and like women would try to grab him and stuff on stage because he's like this big handsome man running around, and she was like, yeah, I know he's hot. I never cared because, yeah, of course, if you have a handsome husband, don't you want other people to find him handsome?
If you're the only one that finds his handsome, maybe something's wrong with you.
So she's funny, and then they did some article about her where she's like, yeah, I never married again because I still love Otis.
Right.
Why would I ever remarry? It's just, I don't know, just one of those where you're like, well, this should be a movie. I think it is gonna be.
Okay.
I saw John Boyega is gonna be Otis Redding or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that's Otis. I don't know necessarily when I got into Ole O, but
Yeah. Big O.
Big O. But I did. I heard his voice and I said, I pulled a Geffen.
You said I gotta have me more of that thing that I'm hearing.
Yeah. So that's where we're at here today.
Yeah, it falls into, I mean, I don't know if I knew that's how you, like, I remember seeing photos like this or this one. And then when you hear he died at 26, I was like, well,
yeah, that's the other
I thought
thing.
he was like a 45-year, like,
He looks like, also one of those things where you're like, things were just different back then.
right.
Because he looks
you
like a
lived whole
grown man.
life and
Yeah. And you look like a pipsqueak.
right. But he could afford, I mean, even dealing with all that stuff, he was like owned a plane. Like he was still successful, even like trying to combat all this. There's all these, there's so many artists like this that are interesting. And I hear, and some you might hear and go, oh, that's cool. But some of it, it's like, I don't know. There's maybe a period of that stuff where I go, I'm not searching that stuff out or like crate digging to find these old, whatever.
I was at a record store last weekend and I saw this album and it was like a new repress for like 30 and then like an original for 25. And I was going to buy it and I said, I do want it. I have some Otis, some of his live stuff because that's kind of where he shines. That's where people were like, well, and that was one of the other stories of his first couple albums. They're like, they purposely did not put him on the cover because a black guy doesn't sell. So they put like a
lady.
Yeah. And like one of them's a black lady and one of them's a white lady. Maybe they're both, I don't know. Anyway,
sings soul. That's a white lady in my book.
Yeah, Otis Blue. That's like kind of his big break, and it's a white lady on the front. And that was like, yeah, we did that because then white people buy it,
right?
And then they realize, oh, maybe these people are okay. they just sing about the same stuff we like.
Maybe they are people.
Yeah, which is just crazy when you are,
or that they've felt so tricked.
Yeah, they show up to the whiskey a go-go and they're like, I thought like let's be honest, a white guy couldn't sound like this.
Yeah.
Name one.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. And I hope there is.
Yeah, I hope we get one of these days.
But so that's Otis Redding. Thanks for listening to this episode. No, I'm kidding. We've only just begun.
So sit back, pour yourself a famous Big O, which is like, I'm trying to see if there's anything here that I could make into a drink. Pour yourself a Huckle-Buck, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you could find that on a thing, and it's
I'm
like
sure.
apple juice and
Vermouth.
yeah, room temperature, and get out there and sitting on the dock of the bay. I can hear it now.
Sounds just
I
like
can hear it.
the bay rolling in.
That makes me think about how
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away.
Hear it?
Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay,
bye.
wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I've had nothing to live for, and look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change.
Don't do that.
Listen to this.
Everything still remains the same.
Listen to that.
I
Come
can't
on.
do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same.
Listen, he said that.
Here resting my
Well, of course we are trying to listen, but we can't listen.
Not the
to
whole
song.
thing, Big O.
Less than 3 minutes long. Landon, would it surprise you to know that he was ambitious to finally record a #1 hit?
No.
By the time Otis Redding wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, he was ambitious to finally record a #1 hit. But, of course, as fate would have it, and I know that's the normal way to say it, but as fate would have it, it did become a #1, but he never got to see it. Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you wish you could be up on a cloud somewhere and see that you did it
Yeah.
instead of just being dead in a lake?
You, Abraham Lincoln, the alligator that bit Tubbs' hand off, and Tubbs, and Otis Redding
Yeah.
watching.
Oh, and Tubbs. I thought you said in Tubbs, like the movie Tubbs.
No, Tubbs, the
I
guy
know,
that teaches
I know.
Happy
Yeah.
how to putt.
And someday,
Happy learned how
I
to
hate to think
putt.
about this, but someday Happy will be up there.
Oh, my God.
Sitting with Otis.
Do you think that's how Happy Gilmore 2 ends? His daughter, of course, in the movie.
Uh-huh.
He's like, Dad, I hope you're proud of me. And he's like, I'm proud of you.
It's him on a little girl's body, like his head on her body. Yeah. Now, what I also would like to say is that,
Please,
while Redding's body wasn't even found yet, this is attributed to our unofficial sponsor, Genius.
Yeah.
While Redding's body wasn't even found yet, co-writer Steve Cropper was forced to go back into the studio and release something. They didn't even know where he was, right?
Yeah.
And it says, a small month after Redding's death, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay got released and quickly climbed the charts. Became the first posthumous #1 hit in the United States. And then the album became the first posthumous #1 record in where? Bloody old UK.
Yeah. The UK loves this guy.
And you got to wonder, is it the song? Is it the mystery of a man gone too soon? Is it both? Would it have hit #1 We're not.
Well,
this
that's the thing. That's what maybe we can discuss.
Is he the Lil Peep of their generation?
Right. With this, I think this song is kind of undeniable.
Yeah, it's good.
It's one of those where you're just like, oh yeah, this is kind of one of those where you're like, this has always existed type ones where you're like, you just you know the feeling, and you see like people you can read in a sort of civil rights aspect to it, but Otis was never too concerned with that from all his friends. Like he was, but they were always like his agenda was to transcend the race dynamic and just elevate his group, you know?
No Harry Belafonte was he.
Right. Yeah. he was the sort of guy that just says, ain't we all just like this?
Mm-hmm. And hopefully that's enough. Whereas Helly
Belafonte.
Whereas Helly R from Severance.
Yeah.
Harry Belafonte would say he would maybe you'd say he's a little heavy-handed in trying to get. Well, you said that before we started recording.
Yeah.
No, this is a good song.
But you get to that bridge, look like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same.
So I have a question for you that maybe you know and maybe you don't. Who's doing sort of the
Whistling?
Yeah. And don't say you. Who's playing all the did he have was this a sort of studio band? Is this like you said they sort of had a collective, right? This record studio that was doing the you know,
they were doing the Warhol thing before Warhol.
Yeah.
No.
Were they studio musicians? Were they the guys that would go on the road with him? Did he play an instrument?
I think he kind of dabbled in everything, instrument wise. But they had like a house band, almost like a studio group, and Steve Cropper was his main, like the main guitarist, and they were kind of the main two songwriters, I think. But he did eventually get like
Otis Redding only wrote the first verse of "Sittin' On the Dock of the Bay."
Yeah.
Okay.
He
let's give Cropper his due.
Cropper is good.
That's bold of you, my friend.
Well, and
he's still alive.
Yeah. We'll get to some of these other songs, but the guitar parts are, I always think, pretty cool and like modern almost. And some of the production stuff on some of these is like, I mean, I know it is the 60s and people are doing cool stuff. But, you know, but I don't know, just some stuff is like, I mean, some of these songs are just kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like you're saying, it's sort of the bebops, the Portillos, like, well, yeah, it's the good old days, 50s, 60s, rockabilly, rock, soul stuff. But some stuff is like, something just a little different here. Something feels,
there's a little soul in that man's voice,
and the guitar, like the melodies that the guitars are doing are like, that's different. That's something that's not just your everyday,
even that stuff,
Stax sound.
I do wonder if so many of, I mean, this is from like documentaries or even movies about this time where it's like he gets there and he's like, grab your guitar, and he's like, sit no, and then they come in, then maybe he points to the bass player and he's like, doom, and they're just making it up as it goes, and there's a little section for him to go, you know.
Yeah.
It's written in a way where they're just all good at their instruments. It is also funny to see like top Steve Cropper songs are "Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay," "Try a Little Tenderness," and then "So Ghetto" by Jay-Z.
Yeah. Sure. But I think also it's a time when, well, for one, some of this stuff too, and we'll get to some songs that are like the old standards of like the crooners and stuff that is like predominantly white music of like big orchestral sound and a guy going, oh, I love you, baby. And then, and this happens throughout the history of music where people are doing covers. And back then it was just normal. And now it's like, Luke Combs is doing a cover of Fast Car?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Or whatever. Which I think is kind of cool because then, someone who's been in obscurity for a while gets their due.
Right.
Finally, as some people think.
Mm-hmm.
Joey hates that song, Fast Car.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Nowadays it is like sampling.
I got a fast car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sampling is basically the same thing. But also people do covers, but now it's kind of like, and we've even said it on here, so we're part of the problem where it's like, really? You're going to just do covers? But
well, here's my thing.
That's at a live show.
That's stupid where the to me the sort of ironic nature of or like remember you elder emos?
Yeah.
That sort of bullshit that I fucking hate.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to all the old people listening to this. But there was a time, like you're saying, where they were covers, but they weren't even, it was just like they're like take Harry Belafonte for instance.
Okay, sure.
The Banana Boat song.
I'll have two.
That was a standard.
Right. Yeah.
That he made popular, and you go, well, he actually didn't write that, but it's like there was just this, it was a different thing. I just listened to like an hour and 45-minute podcast on Harry Belafonte this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's the
but
I recorded. But there was like these standards.
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
That I listened to the wrong album. The standards were that, and it was like what artists are covering them that are popular, that like that's the version you're hearing, because now it's like, well, you can hear the original.
Right. And it sucks.
Right.
And then you're like, well, but when Harry Belafonte does it, it's awesome. And in the case of Otis, that was another thing where it's like people were like, you can't do Try a Little Tenderness. He shouldn't. He's going to degrade it. And then he does it and it's awesome. And everyone's mind is blown.
Yeah, because he was doing like Otis Goes Tender or whatever, Volume 3.
Yeah. And they're like, no.
Don't do it.
That should be sounding like an old boring song. And he's like, why don't we try it this way? Don't try a little tenderness. So that's Otis Redding.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
No.
But yeah, I like this song a lot. I think it, and again, it is sort of, oh, by the way, I was going to say, he also had a touring band called the Bar-Kays. That's what I had to look up.
So it was Otis Redding and the Bar-Kays.
And I believe he had just signed on the Bar-Kays, who were like young kids in the area. Not like, not super young kids.
Don't
but
say it.
Yeah.
They got on the plane.
Well,
so one of those people was the survivor.
Yeah.
And then the other one that took a different.
Yeah, I think. Oh, and I did start watching a YouTube video that said Otis Redding is still alive. I was like, so there's even a conspiracy about this? Because they didn't find his body or whatever. But then I was like, no, I saw another documentary that was like,
You were like, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah, I was like, I think so. But then, so I stopped watching, well, and it was an AI narrator, so I was like, all right. But in another one, I think Cropper, Steve, had to identify his body because Mrs. Redding was like, I can't do it.
Understandable.
Yeah. So but also he's like, and then
what if he was wrong?
I think it was him or Al. I can't think of his last name, but there's another guy, Al.
Not Roker.
No. That was in the band, or maybe he started Stax. I can't remember.
A Gator?
Oh, yeah, I think it was. Yeah. But anyway, he went and he was like, his death hurt harder than my dad's death, than my brother's death, than my mom's death. I was like, well, that seems crazy.
Yeah.
That's your family. But
hey,
that's just how powerful the big O really was to people.
Right.
So you like this song?
And most people, when they say, the answer when people complain about their family you know, like he's doing this and it's annoying and my dad's being this way and that sucks, people go, that's family. So maybe he did like Otis Redding more than his family.
Yeah.
No, I do. I like this song, and I love you more than words can say.
Oh, well.
Shut up.
Please let me sit down beside you.
Think I could do this?
No. No white man
I've got
can.
something to tell you.
I've already said.
You should know. I just couldn't wait.
Boom, boom,
But
boom.
not another day. I
couldn't wait
love
for
you for more than words can ever say. Honey, living without you is so painful. Yeah. I was tempted to call it a day. You've got me in your hand.
I love that part.
Can't you understand? I love you, baby, for more than words can say.
We can't go back.
Stop it.
Yeah,
You want me to
yeah.
stop it?
Well, it's about done, ain't it?
We are about at that fateful a minute 30.
Yeah.
This is a God, I just lost it. This is a Booker T joint.
Yes.
So Booker T's on the track. Oh, obviously Eddie Floyd is on the track. So he didn't write this.
No, this is one of those that he took and made his own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, we were saying about how I think he dabbled in instruments, but he is also one of those guys where they're like, I think he's just a genius, where he would just sing something for someone to play, and then they would play it, and it would be like perfect harmony, like the horns and stuff. He'd be like, and trumpet, you do this. And the tuba go, and then it would just sound good together.
Yeah, he can hear the composition,
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily, and he's in a position where he can just work with people that can
Can just do it.
sort of play by ear and then understand. And then he starts going,
Yeah.
baby. And the guy's like,
Yeah.
oh. So this song, I think more, maybe songs later, but in this album, not in history. But you sort of get that. I see why you like the live albums, because this is like you can see him
Yeah. you
playing
can
the
kinda-
song, and he doesn't need. By the way, he doesn't need to be behind some guitar that's holding him, and he's got to be
No.
up there giving it his all.
Well, and that's the thing. You
want to see a performer?
did you watch a live video or anything?
No.
You should do yourself a favor. Go look up Otis Redding live. So there's some live videos, and he is just like, he's a big tall guy too. So he just looks, and he's dressed cool.
Mm-hmm. Bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be one of those guys online that post pictures of people in suits and
Yeah.
stuff, and like back when men were men.
Why don't we look like this anymore? A 21-year-old guy that looks 50.
Yeah, wearing what would be the most uncomfortable clothes in the world. They're all made of just like starch paper.
Yeah. But he's swinging, and then on a fast song, he's stomping around on stage, and you're just like, God, you can't take your eyes off this guy.
Probably sweating up a storm.
Of course.
In that hot ass club.
And you can't even, hello.
26.
Crazy, right? But yeah, I mean, lyrically, this is sort of but this is what I was going to say about some of these too. It is like, you get, in hip hop, it becomes the sort of, well, specifically Run the Jewels is like kind of making fun of like In Love Again or other stuff. But making fun of these sort of your woman's trying you.
Mm-hmm.
Your woman's trying your patience, and you can't live with her. You can't live without her.
You're right.
And the sort of like bravado of the male.
Yeah, the braggadocio.
the machismo. And but it all comes back to stuff like this, where, you know, living without you is so painful. I was tempted to call it a day. You've got me in your hand. Why can't you understand? I guess not this song, but this is just a love song, huh? I guess I'm thinking of a different one where he's kind of being like,
keep this all in.
yeah.
No. Oh yeah.
But
well, no, he says, living without you so painful. I was tempted to call it a day.
right. Yeah.
You've got me in your hand. Why can't you understand? I love you more than. So it's like,
He was tempted to call it
Yeah.
a day, as in he was going to Roblox himself.
yeah, this is sort of the like Lois and Peter thing, where she's like, "Oh, you're so annoying," you know.
Don't say that,
You're so annoying, but I love you, Peter.
Lois, I love you, Lois.
Oh, Peter.
It's that sort of thing for
Peter.
our Gen whatever.
Listen to this. Peter. Just a side note, I was talking to a 5-year-old kid just yesterday, and he said something about Peter, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's like when Peter did that thing," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "From the Peter Griffin show." It's just like the kids are just watching YouTube clips and they think Family
Right.
Guy is called the Peter Griffin show.
Can I tell you something?
It's funny. I just had to laugh. Go ahead.
I was in a hotel this weekend, and I put on, as a joke, for my girlfriend, who I knew would be mad, I put on Family Guy. And so I was laughing, and she said, "I'm going to go take a shower." So I just laid in bed and watched Family Guy.
Yeah.
And they're in Italy, and he's in a hotel, and she's like, "Why don't we go explore the town?" He's like, "Oh, I'd rather stay in the hotel room and figure out why the guide button doesn't work on the remote. Guide. And he's hitting guide. And I realize, in a Black Mirror-esque moment, I'm sitting in a hotel room, and I reach over and grab the remote and hit the guide button, and it doesn't work. Just like Peter Griffin.
The Peter Griffin show was right.
I know.
And hey, it is kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, what he found out is it was turning his son Stewie into different people, and one of them was just Manny from Modern Family, like a picture of a kid.
All right. That's funny. But your girlfriend, of course, left you.
Yes, she left me. She got home. She shut the door before me. I tried to go in the window. She kicked me out, Fred Flintstone style, and I said, "Please let me come home."
Maybe a little too loud in the mix. Tambourine.
Baby, yeah. Babe, wanna come home to you. Baby, yeah, girl. Said I got to get home to you.
Cropper. Rockin'.
Wednesday night, feeling so blue.
Feeling so blue.
Oh, Lord, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, baby, yeah, baby, said, honey, oh, we're gonna come home. Ooh, baby, 1,000 miles away. Baby, yeah, baby, said you're just 1,000 miles away. Take these chains around my heart. Never leaving you no more. You'll never depart, baby. Please, let me come on home to you.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an era of you don't need a chorus.
Right.
So the whole song is kind of a chorus or a big long verse.
Or just him kind of saying stuff to someone over a beat.
And it's kind of cool.
Well, because what is it? It's a song.
It's a song.
But it's just him pleading with someone.
Yeah. And this is kind of one of those. I mean, he's just a man. He's pleading for his woman. I mean, who hasn't been in that position?
Right?
You
with
the Family Guy thing.
About it. Baby, let me come home. Please, please, please let me come home to you. Crying my eyes out.
You ever messed up so bad?
Please, please, please.
But you just feel that when he's saying it, you know? And he's singing it, actually.
And he's 25, 26, where I'm just like, he's kind of singing like a father he is. That's the other thing. But like this father that's like some guy in his 40s that's like, I messed up.
Yeah.
Basically, we're like just out of college and still thinking about like, do I
run?
Do I get a keyboard or something? Like trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah. Maybe I'll like start painting. Just see if I can do it. And he's like, please, 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 let me come home. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
How you do that, son?
He's wise beyond his years. Because I feel like it's him, but it's also, it's not a character.
No.
But it's that singing towards something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah. But it just hits different from him. For me. Mm-hmm. For me. That's what I mean. This guy, he's, you say the thing of you can sing a goddamn phone book and I'd listen. Now, I've never said that about anyone, but it might be true for Mr. Big O Redding.
All right, we'll put him.
It might be true. A, B, C.
That's not how they sing the phone book. That's the alphabet.
The alphabet.
It'd be like, Aardvark, Abacaneser.
Okay, that is not in the phone book either. You're going to call John Aardvark? And then Ebenezer?
No, it's
Small
like
town.
Ahab Plumbing or something. So you've got Al Jackson on the track.
Jackson. I think that's the guy who had to...
Ugh. Well, then who's on drums but Al Jackson Jr.? Is that his son? Drums.
Yeah. Well, he's awesome at drums.
2 tenor sax, 1 trumpet, and a keyboard piano guy. Isaac Hayes is the keyboard piano guy.
Oh my God.
Hello, children.
Hey, that's a different animated show. We're hitting all of them.
Yeah, people love this. When you put it that way, it's kind of crazy that like a guy just doing stuff on South Park lived, it's like was around when people were like, we should still have slaves.
Yeah.
Like people were still mad at
doing that.
they are still, which is
Right.
the worst part.
Right.
But it's just like it wasn't long ago.
It wasn't long ago.
Oh my God.
And then he was like, have my salty balls. Whatever. Just like, I mean, yeah, that's undeniably the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you've seen a lot, sir.
Yeah. What a life. And then also
Thank
Scientology.
you. Oh.
Okay, so
Look, if he were here right now, I'd tell you he'd be knocking on the door, and I'd say, open the door.
I've been so wrong so many times.
Here we go.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
We've all been wrong a time in our life.
I was just saying that.
yeah.
And we all make mistakes sometimes of leaving what's good for us.
I was saying that about you.
I made
Huh?
that mistake. And now I'm trying to get back to my
This
baby.
guy cannot.
Running around, showing up is killing me.
Woo! Woo!
Let me in, let me in. Let me in, let me in.
Imagine John Boyega doing
Let me
this.
in, let me
Let me in it.
Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me ease on in.
See that kind of
Look
stuff.
into my eyes.
It just feels modern in a way.
Can't you
Yeah.
see I got to
Or
come on
timeless.
in? I ain't lying and I ain't smiling, body baby. Open the
Little
door.
organ.
I'll bust it in. Because this running around, sure enough, it's killing me. Yes, it is. It's killing me, baby. I got to come on in. Let me in, baby. Please, let me in. I got to come on in, honey.
That's the song.
Open the door.
That's yeah.
He's gonna do
Open the
the.
door. Let me in.
Oh, there it is.
Let me in. Let me in. Let me in.
Mama.
Mama got to come in. A little rim shot hit there of the door knock. That's called sort of diegetic sound.
Yeah. You're like, dang, it's like him is knocking on the door.
And then also the being mad, you know, I'm a buster. And then, excuse me, I'm getting emotional.
Oh. Because this reminds you of when you did this.
Yeah. And then he goes, and he's trying to be smooth.
Yeah.
And then it's also like the other voices come in
Other
to
Otis.
make it cool. Yeah. To like harmonize with
Yeah.
him to make it like the
Like,
smooth guy
yeah.
trying to get in the door.
Yep. This is more what I was talking about, where you're kind of the machismo.
Yeah.
It's the bravado.
It's the bravado, the braggadocio of.
And I think in later, like you listen to Love Man, which is maybe to me even a more fun album to listen to because it's more of just the upbeat stuff where he's just da, dee, do, ga, and he's doing all that, and you're like, hey, actually we should listen to that with our good friend John Van Dusen because he's doing so much stuttering in that album. where he's going,
We'd maybe get to the bottom of.
yeah. I was listening to that again just to fill my Otis hole. And I was like, God dang. I mean, this man is stuttering all over this album. But yeah, I think
yeah.
this is I like this song a lot too.
Like this one, this is sort of the fun, like a live version of this.
Yeah.
Because it starts with him being like,
Preaching.
yeah, remember when we were all nasty and everyone's like, mm-hmm. People are like, Otis.
A bunch of white mods
Yeah.
in the UK going, I've accidentally made a mistake too.
Yeah, in the UK, they just said that. I accidentally make a mistake too.
Right-o.
That's better.
Okay.
So, but then you get the dude, and then the guy does the little. Everyone's like, ah!
Yeah.
And he's up there pleading and pleading, tired of being alone out here, even though you know he's running around. I'm sorry for running around. I'm lonely.
Mr. Otis.
Mr. Redding, don't mess with Cupid. Sitting in the car with my parking lot and the ding, ding.
I know, doesn't this sound modern too? That good guitar part? Hey.
You got the right string, baby. But no yo-yo is the wrong color. Now, honey, let me tell you, don't you mess with
Cupid.
no.
He's not.
Don't you mess with
Cupid.
no. Our Cupid is not stupid, man. No, you talk about love, but just a rock on the floor, honey.
Uh-uh.
Just a walk on and nothing more.
Baby.
Just don't seem to understand that I'm a man, baby, and I'm full grown man, honey. I'm telling you, don't you mess with
Cupid. No, huh?
Stupid baby.
Huh? Cupid.
Stupid.
Oh no, wrong one. I can't do it. There we go.
Wow.
Thought I could kind of DJ my way out of it.
You are foolish.
No, and let's go back a little bit. The tambourine,
Yeah.
I like it because it sounds like they just picked up whatever. You know, there's a sound of a tambourine now where it's like kind of not perfect or whatever, but it's just like it's just a smooth sound. It sounded like some crap you'd get back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of clunky.
Well,
Chunky.
I'd think some of these are like just recorded live in the room, you know?
Well, they didn't patch it in afterwards. They didn't have a
I don't think they're
trigger on the.
I don't know if they're. I mean, yeah, but I mean, they're just the full band is just like, all right,
That's how it is.
That's how it is, and that's why some of the, what, you know, he's improving some of the stuff of, well, clearly like all the vocal ticks, of like, you know,
Baby. I said one more time, let me tell you.
yeah, that stuff, and I can't remember what song. I think Respect on the other album we were talking about an hour ago. One of the guys was saying that last, was it that? I can't remember. Anyway, he was just saying like he changed the lyrics when we were recording just while he was singing, and it sounded cool. So we just said, okay, that's cool. But it kind of changed the meaning of the song at the end. And they're like, that's just Otis. But in a cool way, you know?
That's just Otis.
But yeah, it couldn't have been Respect, but it was definitely something.
When you say respect, are you talking RESPECT?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't quite sound exactly the same as Aretha's, but
Right. That's another example of that.
right. He wrote that song.
Then she said, well, he's not around anymore.
Right.
But take it, make it something new, bright and beautiful and blue.
Do you like the song about the baby that is Cupid? He's not
Yeah.
stupid. He is a baby, though.
It's fine.
I like the sound, but then it is just kind of like, don't mess with Cupid.
Yeah.
He's not stupid over and over again. You're like, well,
Well, you have to remember this is what, 60 years
Yeah.
ago? Like
That's
these
kinda
people
all
are
they're-
still rubbing two sticks together trying to make fire.
they're not breaking any barriers.
It's a fun.
It's just a fun little song.
But the talking about the guitar and like some of these more modern sounding things, I'm like, what is this? It's soul music. You've got this white guy doing the guitar stuff, but it's like it's for soul music. So I was like, what does this sound like that came after it? I was thinking of these, I don't know, like the Creedence Clearwater sort of psych rock, whatever stuff of the late. I think so. Fortunate Son came out in 1969, like the year after this. So you sort of see that, like, while they are maybe still not getting full credit, sort of like the blues thing turning into hard rock,
Right.
metal. You've got at the same time, like, that sound is then being used by bands of white guys.
Yeah.
That also, if you think of like that song, I'm like, I kind of sound like in my head, it's a guy kind of doing Otis Redding.
Yeah.
It ain't me.
Yeah.
It ain't me.
It is. It just doesn't
Baby,
sound as
baby.
good.
Yeah.
To me. But yeah,
Well, you're
no,
gonna hate next week's pick then. It's Creed.
you can't even say it. Creed.
Oh, okay.
You're picking Creed, aren't you?
No. I got it.
But no, I mean, and if you look back at the history of music, popular music in America, it is. And I know, and people are gonna be mad because you can't say this anymore. But it is white people stealing black people music.
Yeah.
It just is.
Uh huh.
They're like, we should be proud of our white culture. They're like, you don't have white culture,
Right. You don't.
Not without black people.
And even just think about who puts spices on their food.
Which is by the way,
Which is true.
it's just true, and it's but by the way, it's fine. to just say that, to just admit it. I know
Right.
we're in this moment now where we're like, come on. But it's not saying that that you personally are any worse because you didn't come up with
Stop pointing at me.
with blues.
We're just saying that I just wish at the time they would have said, hey, I like that.
Well, and I think they did though.
Yeah.
That's what, like, back then people were being like, yeah, I love Otis Redding.
Mm-hmm.
I love the sounds that I'm hearing. So I'm going to, there's a reason that the guy Tom Hanks is like is so happy when Elvis is white.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz he can finally do black music through a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
The guy Tom Hanks. Well, Tom Hanks is also happy to go to Greece or whatever. So
I just mean in that movie.
I know that one about Elvis. I don't. Yeah,
but that kind of is the story of, like, even you go to like folk music, which is like these hillbillies in Appalachia are listening to slave hymns, and they're like, that puts me to mind of a song. Yeah. And they bring out their banjo and start doing diddle doing diddle doing, and then you get Roy Acuff Jr. or whatever the hell. Like, but it is all. But that's the beauty of America.
Thank you.
Why is that so hard to admit or to say? We've done bad stuff, but that's the beauty of what we can accomplish together.
I think but unfortunately, I think we're past that point.
Well, we are. Because you can't even admit that that's true anymore. You, specifically.
I read a pretty lengthy thread last week about how actually America isn't a melting pot. And that actually is not what
I know. We can't say that anymore either.
Because if you look at music now and you go, okay, so that, came from, and someone goes, isn't it interesting that whatever this is happening now, you go back to sort of the simple version of that, and then where did they get influence? It's actually blues music. And someone goes, okay,
but you really think
you're telling me that? Think of something quick.
You think a guy in Washington,
yes,
like a white guy in Washington, in Nirvana, listened to, I don't know, think of something.
I
B.B. King.
Yeah.
And then you would ask them, and they were like, yeah. I love that shit. Yeah, that's exactly what I was emulating.
So that's what you've got happening here. You're sort of seeing the beginning of this for soul music. You're sort of seeing the stealing happening in real time. And I say stop the steal. Landon thinks it's fine that the steal happened.
I just think you can't talk about music without not even addressing. It's not like we're standing up on. I mean, now we kind of are standing up on our soapbox.
But you shouldn't have to.
No, because it's history. It's what happened.
Yeah,
it's not.
I'm sorry, I brought up Creedence Clearwater.
We're not taking a stand. We're just saying this is what influences this. It influences this. Influences this. Influences. It's not a bad thing. It's just what happened.
It's kind of changing what I might do this week.
I don't care. No, I just think, isn't that kind of fun? Like, isn't that the fun of it? Of like, you hear something and then you're like, oh, they were influenced by this?
Yeah, because it's been so bastardized into this.
Yeah,
can't say that. When at the meat of it, it was just what these people were into, and that it was the glory of love for them.
Yeah.
Give a little, take a little,
Yeah.
and let your little heart just cry a little.
That was the drums.
That's the story of.
Hey, by the way,
That's the glory of love.
You're good.
Y'all, I know what I'm talking about.
hell yeah, we do,
brother.
Big O.
We miss you.
Try a little, yeah. Try just a little. And let that old wind just blow right on by a little, yeah. That's the story of. That's the glory of love. I still know what I'm talking about, y'all. When this whole world get tired of us, we'll have each other and only child. When this whole world get through with us,
I did it again.
we'll have each other.
Shut up. I still know what I'm talking about, y'all. I see him dabbing. It's sort of like a preacher.
Yeah.
You know, you're on stage kind of giving a sermon
Yeah.
to your congregation that want nothing more than to rip your clothes off and ride you to town.
Mm-hmm. Grab your junk. And your wife's watching, just going,
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't
yeah,
they?
of course.
And he's like, I know it's crazy. You get it. She's like, I get it.
I get it, and I like it. There's like,
Oh, my
dang.
God.
It just was better back then. What do you think of The Glory of Love?
I like this song. It's a slower one, but it's just the instruments. They don't take a backseat, but they're sort of sparsely. You know, just you get the little.
Yeah.
And he's like,
You kind of just let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like when the drums come in, and because you think it's going to be like a boom, a little waltzy thing, but then the drums come in and they go. They kind of start driving things a little more. The tempo doesn't increase, but the drive does. And you start to feel a little more motion. And you say, God, get me that man in that one-piece jumper suit. I gotta have it.
I like it. I don't really have much else to say about that one.
No, me neither. We can.
But I am
coming
home to see about you.
You.
It's confusing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, I guess. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Hush, darling, and don't you cry. I'm coming home to dry your weeping eye. Hush, still, darling, and don't be blue. I'm coming home to see about you. It's been so long since I've seen you. I don't know what in the world, Lord, am I gonna do? But if you're still waiting with your love so true, you'll make me, ooh, man, oh, somebody, hush, darling, and don't you cry. I'm coming home to wipe your weeping eye. Hush, still, darling, and don't you be blue. I'm coming home to see about you. You know I got to see my baby, see my one desire. Got to see my baby, so set my little soul on fire. Got to see my baby, she's everything.
Do you have a question too?
This is not the song.
Darling, and don't you cry.
What the hell are we listening to?
Okay, but he says it. The name of the song is.
I don't remember this song being on this album.
What the hell's happening?
Because this is what I'm used to.
My darling.
My darling, since you left me, where can you be? Nobody knows now. I'm just a little lonely boy. Nowhere to go. I'm gonna be coming home.
This is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Hold on. Let me listen to the mono version.
Yeah. Nope. What the hell?
You should have bought the album.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go back and buy
Because
it.
he literally says in the song, man, I'm coming home to see about you.
I know, but why does the Genius has this one?
Why does the Genius has this one?
Has the lyrics for this.
I'm
my
gonna be coming
version.
home, coming home, coming home, coming home, coming home, coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming back to you. Oh, my little darling.
What the?
It's time that this is a breakout section. We haven't had to do this for a while.
No, this is interesting. Isn't
ever, but we have to figure this out.
Okay. So, view album. Which one have I been spinning? This is the 1968 original. Okay. You're looking on. You got to go to Reddit or something.
I'm coming home to see about you.
I'm coming home. Coming home. Is that what you? Well, apparently your Apple Music only has this version of the song, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're different songs.
Right. Otis.
Now let me check out this is the mono original recording. Let's see what this one sounds like.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah. So that must be.
Here's how stupid the AI overview is. I'm coming home to see about you, Otis Redding. It says, you're likely referring to the song Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay, which contains the line, I'm coming home to see about you. You can't just say that stuff.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Anyone else dig Otis Redding here? That's probably you on the Reddit. Why is there no
one knows about this? Nobody knows about this. So this is the original is a Volt Records, Volt 419 mono original recording, according to my little app here. Now the one that has my preferred version is Atco, ATCO.
Which means what?
Oh. But it's a different thing altogether, and it sounds like this.
What is that?
Get it yet?
But what is the name of that?
Are you starting to understand?
Yes, it's the Atco version. I know that. Help me find this song. Name that song. It's from The Traders, Season 1. What the hell is going on?
Guys,
if I look up those lyrics, nothing comes up.
Your version or my version?
Dude, your version. The heck? This is crazy. I hope people at home are playing along.
Then, go ahead.
So I see I'm coming home.
Yeah. That is the song I'm Coming Home from
him singing into a microphone.
Remember Me, which is I think another posthumous.
Yeah.
Like
that's 22 previously unissued tracks.
But then even it on YouTube,
My darling says you left me.
Then you get two sitting on the
Sitting at the dock of the bay, take one.
This is take 2. That's some interesting stuff. This is where they're getting into the
kind of the demos and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
So I'm coming home to see about you.
But even on this YouTube, it's this song, but the music that it tags is I'm Coming Home to See About You from Dock of the Bay. And not only that, but the Volt.
My darling says
But the Volt one.
I am in my drop dead years. Dropping dead is a uniquely male.
It is. Let's see here. No one is saying anything.
What is happening?
2025 here, Otis.
He is alive.
Them horns and guitar, man. Perfect sound. Nothing like the stack sound.
True.
I mean, that's your people. But no one is saying No one is brave enough.
I guess guys out there, help us. I need to just buy the record, don't I?
I'm pretty sure the version I have is the correct one.
I'm
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait, what is this? This
my
is your
version.
Okay. Your version, my picture. This person says, sadly, this is not the version I recall from back in the day.
Oh!
Your version it was almost lost to time.
No, your version was.
No, because she's talking about the song. The song, it's called I'm Coming Home to See About You.
Uh-huh.
It's my song name, my album, but your song. And they're saying, sadly, this is not the version I recall from back in the day, which would have been saying the one on this album is my version.
Right.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, 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 bum. But
Someone said, me either. They have the wrong title. The one you are looking for is probably I'm Coming Home. So, I'm just saying someone noticed.
at
9
least someone
years ago.
noticed, but someone noticed Otis got it wrong. But
Yes.
I
This
wish he
song's
was still
title is
alive.
I'm Coming Home. I'm Coming Home to See About You is a totally different song. Listen for yourself. Quite some mistake for a channel that is named Otis Redding, isn't it? ... Winky face. Right, someone said. Then someone else named Greg Myers Reel said, no, it's not. Everyone is saying wrong song based on they would listen to this album when they were children and they would hear
bum, 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 bum.
but what they're hearing is oh,
But now what they're hearing is one of my favorite songs on the album.
yeah, and everyone's saying no. So you've been listening to the wrong song.
Coming home. Coming
Well,
home.
let's listen to it.
Okay.
I wonder when he recorded this one.
This is crazy that we found this out in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to buy the $30 repress
Yeah.
and the original and see which one they have on it.
I think it's going to be the same one.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the one you don't
want.
Yeah.
I know I like bum 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 bum.
Okay, well, one more time. Just the beginning, just so you can hear it.
Dry your weeping eyes.
Weeping eyes.
To see about you.
Well, maybe we're learning some things about Otis here. He's only has a couple ideas. I wonder who wrote. Let's see if we can get credits on these bad boys.
I'm trying to look.
So the correct version is Donald Duck on bass guitar.
No, it's not.
Donald Duck done. You got Odie on the track. You've got so Otis Redding is the songwriter for this song.
The bump 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 version.
Yes. He's the songwriter. Cropper's the producer.
Good for them.
Now, we flash forward to 1992 when they said we found. Can you imagine? You know when it's just like you're like, I should write like a song.
Mm-hmm.
And these there's so many artists that it's like they have so many things that they've recorded.
Yeah.
They're just waiting to do something with, but it's like every time they put out a new album, where was this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Prince thing.
Yeah.
Even rappers now, like they just will keep putting out stuff.
Yeah. Crazy. Huh?
What is that? It must be some affliction of the brain. So let's see. This song is called "I'm Coming Home."
Coming home. Coming home.
This was written and composed by Mr. Otis Redding. He might not have many ideas.
I like this idea better than the other one.
So
Bum, bum, bum.
you got Cropper on the track.
Of course.
Donald Duck. So all the same, Booker Jones, Isaac Hayes.
It was probably all in the same damn session.
Yeah, the production was the Stax staff.
He was probably sitting around with his guitar. He can't speak because his polyps have been removed.
Right.
And he's thinking about his voice coming back. And he's like, coming home. And also, I'm coming home to see about you. Ba 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 boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
He likes that one. They kind of fleshed that one out more because this one looks like it wasn't finished. They produced it, after the fact. Sort of pulled some takes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
You know?
Interesting stuff. But are we sure that that's the first release of the song? Because some of these posthumous ones are like,
dude, I don't know.
God dang. Some of these, Tell the Truth, that's a great album, but that's all posthumous.
That's also something, that's like a Will Smith quote. Tell the truth. I'm a changed man, higher and higher.
Love Man.
I'm not seeing it. Love Man. The immortal Otis Redding.
See?
Nope. It might be the first.
Checks his...
we got to go to the older ones now?
Yeah. Is it in there? Mm-hmm. Check that one.
Fa 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 fa, sad song.
That's a fun one.
Ooh, it's like a game of trick or treat. No, that's an outtake. I'm sick, y'all. I want to listen to I'm Sick, y'all. Hog for you. Day Tripper. I don't know. I think it's oh, we're getting back there. Okay. No, I think it might be the first. I think because, and it says previously unissued tracks.
Well, there you go.
22 unissued tracks.
But 2 of them are Dock of the Bay.
2 of them are Dock on the Bay. That's the kind of bullshit they pull with these Beatles albums.
Try a Little Tenderness. All of this stuff.
Take One. Yeah.
But, and we'll get to one on this album that was a song on one of his first albums, Old Man Trouble. Isn't that the final track of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay? So what I'm saying is, but it looks like we just went through. We did the due diligence. Mm-hmm. That I'm Missing You. No, I'm Coming Home was never released prior to that. What was it? 1992 album?
That's what it says on.
That's what we're
on
finding
Apple.
right now. Interesting.
Sometimes their numbers can be a little weird, but it says March 10th, 1992. 1992 Stax Records. So it was never on an actual, like a proper album, whether posthumously.
Right. I guess maybe it could have been like a B-side or something to a single or some such. Maybe. Because they were doing that back then, right?
I'm not going through all the singles.
Well, I just mean... He is.
Sweet Lorraine. Merry Christmas, Baby. Oh, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And then you've got some remixes. That's weird.
Well, I guess...
I don't know. Not many singles on here. But I think just by... maybe he did it live. He's got live albums.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true. But interesting. So...
But because also this is on this album and on the mono original recording,
that
I
must
have
be.
to believe.
And all the YouTube commentariat was agreeing.
Yeah.
My version is not the real version.
Yeah, and I just feel like Apple Music maybe cares a little more than Amazon Music.
Maybe, but Genius thought it was that too. And YouTube thought it was that. So now what?
Tramp.
Tramp. What you call me? Tramp. You don't wear continental clothes or Stetson hats.
Oh, I was going to bring my Stetson hat out.
Makes me feel good to know one thing. I know I'm alive. All right, Mama was.
Papa too.
And I'm the only child. Never You know what, Otis?
What?
What? You're country. It's all right. You straight from the Georgia woods. That's good.
That's good.
You know what? You wear overalls, big old broke iron shoes, and you need a haircut, Tramp.
Haircut? Haircut?
Grandmama,
Papa too.
oh, that's all. But I'm the son of a gun. Oh, this side of
Now this is fun.
Yeah. And isn't this a sort of indirect lineage to the sort of skit-based hip-hop stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was listening to the 36 Chambers Wu-Tang album, and there's so many skits,
yeah.
of just like funny shit on it. That is crazy, and like theirs are maybe more crude,
Certainly.
but obviously not just them. Other hip hop artists do these sort of skit, and I don't know anything before this album. I can't imagine he's the first person to do something like this. I don't know, but it does feel like a skit being done over music
yeah.
that they sort of took, and like, what were our parents to what did we listening to growing up, kind of taking that into a hip hop thing of like, oh, we can record a funny thing going on.
Yeah.
Where this is like, it is funny. It's a fight between two people in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle, he's going, whoa! What you want, babe? Rat hat, not that. You a rat and a tramp. You know what, Otis? I don't care what you say. You're still a tramp. What? That's right. What? You haven't even got a fat bankroll. I mean, it's also just some classic. They're slinging some Fat Albert sort of
Yeah.
yo mama jokes.
Yeah. I like when he says all of his cars that he has.
I got 6 Cadillacs.
Oh, don't, Landon, don't touch that.
I got 6 Cadillacs, 5 Lincoln, 4 Ford, 6 Mercury,
4 Fords.
3 T-Birds, Mustang. Oh, I'm a lover.
He's a lover.
By me. My mama was.
My papa was too.
But it's also, this is sort of again, he's kind of making fun of the male bravado machismo.
Yeah.
In a way, like, they're having fun with the idea of like, these are the things you need to be a real lover man. And she's calling him out on his bull.
And it does feel a little bit like they're flirting.
Of
It's a fun little fight.
Yeah, of course.
Because if he's doing this in the actual fight, he's kind of like dancing around.
He's dancing around and stuff.
You're still a tramp. You're a tramp, Otis. No, I'm not. What's wrong with that?
And of course, this is Otis Redding and Carla Thomas. They did a duet album, which is actually his last album released in real life.
In real life,
Before
the simulation took
before
hold.
the Matrix was exploded. But so they're kind of friends anyway. They're doing that stuff. It's just fun. It's fun. It's a fun little song. And it's a good groove.
Yeah. Breaks up the album a little bit because it has to get you ready for
Just say it.
the Huckle-Buck.
Yeah. I'm doing it.
You are? Oh, you're
I
doing
got
the
to
Huckle-Buck.
do it to him.
Here we come again, y'all. It's a real stone man. Everybody, sisters, brothers, mothers, papas, knowing it. A stone man. You know what to do. It's called a Huckle-Buck. A Huckle-Buck, y'all. Real strong man. Now, come on and take my hand now. Come on and Huckle-Buck with me. Huckle-Buck. We're going to your places now.
Where are we going?
Georgia, here we come, Royal Peacock.
Well, don't call him that.
Miami, Florida, step over in Memphis. Going to the Hippodrome, everybody swinging the marquees. Going down under, going to the California, going to the 5-4 ballroom. Step over in Detroit City, going to...
Everybody
naming some places.
Yeah. He's huckle-bucking all over this damn country.
And if they could do I don't know, like music videos the way they do them now back then, it would just be a spinning globe and he's on top of it just doing the Huckle-Buck.
I think we should quickly look up the Huckle-Buck and do it for a TikTok and maybe start trending, doing the new viral dance, the Huckle-Buck.
Get the Huckle-Buck back.
I think Huckle-Buck, I don't think he wrote this. I think this was a something of a standard as well, the Huckle-Buck. You might want to...
Well, I see the Huckle-Buck song, Chubby Checker.
Everyone's
10
doing...
years ago, 10 years before this.
Yeah, everyone's doing the Huckle-Buck before Otis. He's just kind of jumping on the Huckle-Buck. The Huckle-Buck
But
train.
wait, this is a different lyrics.
Oh. Well, and I think that's something that happens too. They take the concept and they do their own Huckle-Buck.
You ever heard this? Sorry, this is a live video of a bunch of white people dancing to it. I can't watch this. What? I don't know why I hit the one with for Chubby Checker and it took me to Dance to the 60s, the Huckle-Buck Big Kaz and the Four Bobs. So, not sure what to do with that. But you get the idea. Kind of different. But yeah, it's... Well, he's also doing the Huckle-Buck. Isn't that the idea?
Yeah.
He's like, here's how I do it.
Yeah. I'd do it all over this damn world.
So they were I guess I could have kept watching that because I think they were kind of doing the Huckle-Buck.
Yeah, I think so.
But
But
could bring it back. There are a lot of like TikTok guys where it's like I live like it's the 1915s.
yeah, the trad wife.
And just like I'm making hot chocolate on my old stove. Then
Yeah.
they take you into their house and it's all like and it's like, dude. And people go, how do you make money? And they're like, by doing these videos.
Right. And you're like, so you're
not
But the only way you can do those videos is if you're already rich.
right.
You know?
Because you can't just, I'm going to do nothing.
It's like those she's like a model and her husband's a model and she's like, I make my own toothpaste or whatever, and it's a beautiful kitchen and like in a mansion. And everyone's like, how do you have the time to do all this? And you're like, well, they're rich.
Mm-hmm.
They're rich. They don't have to work.
Yeah, I'm starting to rethink this whole Huckle-Buck thing.
Yeah. We should do it.
My boss is like, you took 5 days off this week. What do you like? Why? And I'm like, I'm learning the Huckle-Buck.
Well, anyway, oh my God, a spider.
Oh,
That's awesome. The Huckle-Buck.
it's crawling all over.
It's very strange how it's crawling. The Huckle-Buck. Now, is it one of my favorite songs? No. But I do like, this is sort of the live experience. If you listen to one of his live albums, his voice has an even, like he goes there on some of these songs, but this is like, it sounds like it hurts him to be singing, but it's cool, you know?
Do you think he would talk about where he, when some bands go like, I'm
the representative of Moline has the floor.
exactly, of Quad City has the floor. Do you think he would be like, and the Surf Club,
Yeah.
where Chubby Checker? No. Buddy Holly died.
In a plane crash, what a loser.
We're going to Chicago. We're going to the Windy City, they call it.
Uh-huh.
This is sort of getting a little Trumpy. We're going to Chicago. We're going to the Windy City, they call it. Going to do the Huckle-Buck now.
Yeah.
Gotta. Everybody's bucking now.
That's actually a pretty funny TikTok
Mamas,
thing.
brothers, sisters, fathers, they huckle-bucking all night. You could do that like
Yeah.
this. He really said this. And then you put out that, no, this is a song.
This is
from
a
the
song.
60s. This is how he talks. They jump back and everyone's like, boo.
Here we come, Royal Peacock.
Y'all. Huckle-Buck now. Watch it now. You got a thing going.
Everybody's swinging. The marquee is going down under. Going to the California.
Boo.
Going to the California. The 5-4 ballroom.
The California. That's good.
We're going to the California.
We could do a whole, of course, this is written by Roy Alfred and Andy Gibson.
Yeah, that's going to be not Otis.
We're going to get so many TikToks out of this.
This
He's
is
going to
great.
wish he never unbanned it.
So yeah, the Huckle-Buck, fun little song.
Mm-hmm.
Not my favorite, but just fun.
Right.
So
Yeah. But I don't know.
what? What's wrong?
Oh,
Seem sad.
I just feel like we can have this fun, but I feel like there's this.
We just did the Huckle-Buck and gained millions of followers.
Would you understand if I said that doing the Huckle-Buck for me is sort of like putting on the mask of the happy face in the theater? And when I take it off, you might not even recognize me. In fact, I feel that nobody knows you
Me?
when you're down and out.
Oh. Don't say that.
I'm just guessing, but you look. It's pretty pathetic the way you look. Who are you? Landon?
Once I lived a life of a millionaire. People spending my money, Lord, and I just didn't care. Now, Lord,
Don't do that.
taking my friends out, trying to have a good time. We drink that strong bootleg liquor and that good old champagne and wine, Lord. What all? Just as soon as my money got so low, I couldn't find my friend, Lord, and I just didn't have no place to go. Now, Lord. But if I ever get my hands on them green dollars again, yeah, I'm gonna hold on till that big eagle grin, Lord.
That's Otis. They're like behind him. Doop, doop, doop.
That nobody wants you.
Get to it.
People, nobody wants you, know when you down and out, Lord.
No fade for you. Because in your pocket, there's not one penny and all of them so-called friends. I'm trying to tell you that you haven't got any.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a good. I mean, did he write this one?
People now trying to tell you that year they called. Oh, Otis, we've been trying to reach you. Because he's got a little money.
Yeah,
honey.
suddenly he's bought a horse ranch.
Right.
He's a little cowboy with a plane. Now everyone's like, "Oh, Otis, yeah. I meant to."
And he's like, howdy, partner. No, this was written by Jimmy Cox.
God, this feels like it's personal.
Right.
Let's look up Jimmy Cox.
Jimmy Cox is an American songwriter who died in 1925. What the hell?
Jesus,
1882 to 1925.
this
What is that?
an old standard.
How old is he? What was that? Hey,
What was
come
it?
on.
82 to
15. Was he like 40?
yeah,
43? 42.
42.
He died before his birthday.
Oh,
Happy
shit.
birthday.
But that's how old you lived back then.
that was old.
Yeah, it's like
That was like he died when he was 80. I
Yeah.
mean, even Otis sort of died in his 50s by the standards of the time.
sure in 64,
Right.
60,
but he's
whatever.
25. He's living up. James Cox was an American vaudeville performer,
Yeah,
known for his jazz age hit "Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out."
I wonder what his version sounds like.
If only we could hear it.
Once I lived the life of a millionaire. People spending my money, honey, now that I just don't care. Lowish.
Once I lived the life of a. It's We should talk about Seth MacFarlane next week.
That's who you're picking, right?
He's just doing all standards. That's why I'm going to pick him.
When I said no one can sing like Otis, and you said,
Just
well,
wait.
Just you
There's
wait.
a marshmallow world in the winter.
This ain't him.
Sorry, why did you put 1923 in the video if the audio is from 80? This whole world is filled with dumb people. Dumb. I'm telling you, you don't know the right song. Wait, here we go.
It probably wasn't recorded.
A little wax
On a
cylinder. My girl's pussy. Those old dirty songs.
Yeah.
You remember? Here we go.
This is not
This
from
is-
1923.
This is so frustrating to try and find the original with false advertising like this. Great electronic synth from 1923. Well done, uploader. This is not 1923 audio. I'm beginning to think the original song was never recorded. Sad, but beautiful.
Sad but beautiful.
We don't
You had to
know
be
how the
there.
original song sounded like unless it's out there and I just can't find it. Without the original, it's up to us to interpret it. That's wild. Sorry, this is not from 1923.
Well, can we find any Jimmy Cox song?
Don't look at what I'm watching.
Jeez Louise. This guy's obsessed with
Something.
that video of
Yeah.
Troye Sivan's music video.
No, I don't think there is. And I just did a very quick search. Jimmy Cox
Just any of his music.
music. Don't touch me. Okay, then we'll go to videos.
Just see. Just look. Just try. It's all just people doing their interpretations,
Jimmy
isn't
Cox
it?
cover, Jimmy Cox, cover.
This is so frustrating.
What if I searched for it?
Yeah, search there.
Optimus, go back to our home planet and bring me back Jimmy Cox music.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's not there. I even spelled his name, I think, right. No, I didn't. Why did I spell it like that?
I was wondering.
No one's ever spelled Jimmy that way.
Until now.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I don't think so.
Electric piano.
From 2015.
Can't
It
be.
is. Okay, let's listen to Baby Sweet Peas.
Okay. You made this. This is GarageBand. I know you did this. You planned this whole thing out. Yeah, it sounds,
I don't know. Let's listen to Baby Sweet Peas. Oh, look, there it is. Looking
Yes.
Through the Milky Way is song number 3. Song number 8 is Stepping Off the Milky Way. So they're like,
It's a
okay.
concept album. Great.
All right. Well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, do you agree that nobody knows you when you're down and out,
Yeah, I do.
but they do know you when you're a millionaire?
Yes.
Suddenly, everyone comes calling. Yes.
But do you think he was, when this came out, he hadn't
He was
lost
dead.
his money. Right.
When this came out, he was.
He was still accruing.
Oh yeah, he was only beginning to be the biggest name in music.
But
you
he
know?
was this is a tale as old as time, and I bet he knew.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a warning to all his fake friends,
Yeah.
and his fake fans.
Mm-hmm.
I may dip down, and I know that you're all gonna go away.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this industry. Everyone wants to ride my plane,
Yeah.
but I know.
The Beatles treated me well just because they like me. You treat me well because I'm a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me sick.
Yeah.
I like this song. It is. I think this album, it does kind of show you a different side to old Otis. Not necessarily different, but just like he can do both. He can do. That's why I think this is one of his bigger albums, and because he died.
Right. That's what we loved about him.
But he can do the soulful ballad, whether about a woman or about a fake friend.
Yes, he can do both, can't he?
Or he can do the soul rocky sort of Huckle-Buck.
Right.
So that's what you get on this album.
Yeah.
Where like
That's Ringo.
yeah. Some of the other ones are I don't know.
Was
they
this-
all do that.
His idea for the album, like these 11 songs.
No. I don't know how they came up with how to release these songs. But I think they did do like Love Man is kind of the sexier album.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other one? Tell the Truth. Actually, Tell the Truth might be my favorite.
The Will Smith special.
Uh-huh. But that one's a little more in your face too.
Do you like the mono or do you like the stereo?
I liked the one that had the other song on it. Well, mono is always better, isn't it? That's what they say.
Yeah.
You're like, but no, it's not.
Yeah. Didn't they create stereo because mono was not desirable?
Yeah, and now everyone's like, well, yeah, but the mono is how you get the good sound.
Right. That's how they wanted you to hear it. Well, apparently not.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. We're just asking questions.
Mm-hmm. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't care if it leads to anything bad. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Or like trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Trouble.
How we doing? Who's gonna do it?
Oh, man's trouble, just leave me alone. Go find someone else to pick home. I live my life without you, see, now. Ooh, oh, man's trouble. Please stay away from me. Oh, man, oh, man. Oh, yeah, oh, how
Go to the outro
in my love.
little section sometime.
Why don't you send
Sometime,
me
yeah.
to
Let's just hear.
yeah, I'm caught me nothing but trouble. Trouble. I don't need your old man trouble. I don't want you, old man trouble. And I just can't have no more trouble.
Yep.
And I just don't want no more trouble.
Well,
Nothing but trouble.
Nothing But Trouble. That's the Dan Aykroyd movie, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Where he's gross.
Yes, and of course he tricks Chevy Chase into coming over. Hey, what's the big idea? You know, that sort of thing. He's like, "Blah! Listen to me, man."
Yeah.
You're just like,
This is the funniest guy. Well, that's a little album called The Dock of the Bay by one Otis Redding. Joey, what do you think?
well, I'm just looking at how they put it together. I'm thinking Sittin' On Dock of the Bay sort of sets the tone of maybe what they wanted these songs to be. They're a little stripped back, sparse. They kind of hit certain points.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got a little mix of his songs about, of course, he's trying to come home. And then near the end, he's down and out. And Old Man Trouble. And also, they were putting this out knowing he died. So there's
Yeah.
sort of this like, well, here's a song about, Old Man Trouble won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
And,
It is kind of a well, and people say of he wrote Old Man or Sitting on the Dock of the Bay just kind of right before he died, and it does feel like a kind of a prescient sort of song, or almost like a knowing that just it's kind of a like whatever happens, maybe I'll die and roll out with the tide, and I've lived my life. I've moved from Georgia and all this stuff. It does have a sort of like, hey man, everything's good.
And it all happens again.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll watch the tide roll out. It's sort
Yeah.
of the cyclical.
Yep. And nothing ever changes.
Right.
It is what it is type deal. And then, yeah, I think it is kind of, I don't know, that is the struggle, especially with old stuff like this too, where it's like, well, it's not really an artist's vision per se of like, here's the album I want to put out. Because even the earlier albums that he did have some control over, I think it is still like the guy who owns Stax is like, well, let's do these songs because they will sell better.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to get big, because not only is it hard to become an artist, but you also have to like, it's such a divided sort of country, and you're trying to sell to the biggest demographic possible. So there's all of those aspects too, where you're trying to decide like what's the best way to sell these records. So I don't think he ever was in a position to be like, well, this is my vision.
Right.
This is my album where I explore death, or this is my album where I explore a heartbreak or whatever. You know, and who knows, maybe he would never have done that, but I feel like he could have. And that's the great mystery. What would he have done? What would he have done? As just the way music was made changed to sort of the artist focused.
Yeah, a lot of old albums are kind of compilation albums.
Yeah.
And
it kind of is the Beatles, right? That are like popularized not just what that kind of music, but also like, oh no, we care about them. Mm-hmm. It's not just we like the songs. It's like we care about what these artists are saying. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes the sort of, and not that they're the only ones, but they kind of like are the biggest band in the history of the world.
Right. I mean, that's why they're still making documentaries where it's like 5 hours of them in a practice space going, try that.
Yeah.
And you're like, because they got to perform on a roof soon.
Yeah.
And you're like,
we've got to
trying to get into your parents' headspace.
But I think that is like,
This is exciting to watch.
Is kind of the shift from like good songs to like album. Like
Great
this
songs.
is concept album. This is the, you know, the blank album. Where
what is an album?
These artists are telling a story or exploring a theme, or this is their unique vision with how they dress to how the album looks, all their graphics and stuff. And, you know, it would just be cool to see someone like him or other guys have that option. But that's not the way it goes. So we're talking about this. What do you have any thoughts, other thoughts?
No, I'm just trying to think about who these other, who was sort of around at this time period and who would he still be alive today? I don't know.
Could be.
You know, if he wasn't dead, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You go, would they still be alive today? Well, I don't know, because they're not. So they wouldn't.
But his friends are all alive.
Yeah. So
right?
it's like, who was sort of doing stuff like that in the 60s? And like, I do feel like there is that sort of, well, why is an album structured the way it is? Why isn't it just a collection of songs?
Yeah.
You know, and you go, well, now they're sort of this, but sometimes like it doesn't feel like these fit together. Why do they have to?
Right. Well, and then like we listened to those pop albums recently, and it's like most pop albums are just like a collection of songs.
And we hope that we have enough singles
right
to like roll out throughout, and then maybe some of that is filler. You hope it's good filler, but it's like, how do we sell the album with these?
But it's still to the point where like fans are still like, well, what does Sabrina Carpenter mean in this song?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's just funny. It's just fun. Mm-hmm. And then you think about like, you know, back then, people were like, well, what is the Huckle-Buck?
Yeah.
You know, what's he really saying? And like, no, I think they were just going and dancing.
I think maybe there's too much of a sort of
emphasis on the artist.
Yeah, because it's like even when we did the Troye Sivan, it's like, well, this was because he was dating this guy at this time.
Yeah,
it could be, but it rolls into everything now.
Yeah.
With the Severance thing sort of being just like too crazy. Of, well, what did they mean? You know, it goes into other art where it's like, well, this meant this because the person that making, like, chill out. I know that's all movies and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's that where it's like, what, and then you're looking into those people's personal lives to see if they've said anything about the art they're making that they're part of, and some of that's like, that's not up to them. Sort of like the music, it's not always up to the pop star.
Right,
they are also sort of playing a character. To a certain extent, and some of them play into it, like the Sabrina Carpenter understanding how someone might be viewing her, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I dated someone else dated or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's me who's like, I don't know any of these people.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's all very interesting.
And maybe there was, because a lot of these were not a lot of them, but many of his songs weren't written by him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but they also, like on this one, they started with one he wrote and composed and end with one. They try to, sandwich it between stuff that was his. It is funny to like put Tramp on there.
Yeah.
As like, we'll put that on a little funny thing where someone's calling him a tramp.
Yeah.
A month after he died.
That's Otis.
I can't believe it.
And there was supposed to be backup singers on Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay, and they wanted to release it as soon as possible after his death. That they said, no, we're not bringing in the backup vocalist, which I actually think makes it better. That it's just kind of him. It sounds like a guy sitting on the dock of the bay. That's all you need.
Yeah,
it's one of those where you're like, you could have,
because it is just him. It's him singing about I'm doing this. Yeah,
and you could have overproduced it and ruined it, but you didn't. And sometimes it's just the little things like that, because you were so greedy to get this song out as soon as possible,
that make it better.
Make it better, even though he specifically wanted some female vocalist to come in and sing backup, and they said, well, I know that's what he wanted, but what we want is to put this album out as soon as possible. So there's that stuff too, where it's like, well, that was his vision, and maybe they would have decided not to either way if he was around, but it's just kind of funny and sad to be like, yeah, but we should sell this as soon as possible because people are really sad that he's dead now.
That's capitalism. That's the guy that created SpongeBob that always said, this is a little different, but it's not.
No.
Always said,
no spinoffs.
No spinoffs. We're not doing that. This is the show. The second he dies from cancer, they're like, let's do a show that's in claymation. We'll do one about we'll do a prequel series.
Yeah. Patrick show, the Squidward
Just
show.
Can't wait to squeeze every last.
I just saw there's the Plankton movie on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's like
I just saw that last week and I've never heard.
I've never even heard of that.
And the trailer's like, I was like, what? So what is this? What are we doing?
What are we doing anymore?
So that's Otis Redding. I'm gonna give this. Now, is this something I'm gonna listen to a lot?
That's the other thing I was gonna say. Is this? I love this kind of music, and I don't think this is something, even genre-wise, you would reach for typically.
Right. This might be something, if it's on, I might skip. If I'm in a car and something that I'm loath to do, have not had to do it for years and years and years, is listen to the radio.
Right.
But if I've forgotten my phone and I am like, I don't have anything hooked up to my car.
Yeah. No CD in the CD player.
I usually go to we'll find the kind of oldies, like the classic, sort of the bebops, like Portillo station.
Yeah.
I would put this on, or like whatever sort of new wave, like bullshit is on something. It's like aha, whatever. I'll do that, or I'll do this. I would listen to this. That's kind of where it sits for me.
Sure.
Even when I was younger, I knew people that for some reason that they're like, oh, I like this stuff and punk. And I also love Buddy Holly.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't have any, I don't know why. To me, that's just, I don't know. Because I like old movies.
Sure.
And I don't know. There's sort of a cutoff.
Well, there is,
but it's not even a year. Maybe it's just a genre thing where it's like, I don't listen to this stuff, the modern version of this.
Right.
So it's not like I don't listen to this old guy.
Yeah.
It's just I don't listen to this
genre. Yeah. Well, and I think there is Buddy Holly and stuff like that, and there was just so much of it. It has to be like, oh, I really like this guy's voice or something, where it's like, Buddy Holly kind of sounds like every other guy doing it at that point. I know that's blasphemous to say.
You know what happened to him?
I've seen the place he, but no. Then if you do find the guy really sounds good to you.
Yeah.
And that's what Otis Redding is to me.
Yeah.
Where, like, I know maybe he's not even, if you talk to someone who really knows the genre, they're like, well, he's just doing Sam Cooke. And I've listened to Sam Cooke, and I'm like, he doesn't do it for me the way Otis does, you know? And you know, he's just doing Little Richard, but then, I mean, I like Little Richard fine as much as the next guy, but he just doesn't do it for me the way Otis does. That's just the thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So there's all of these other guys that do it, but do they do it as good for you? And to that I say, no. No, sir, they don't.
The other thing, this is just a me problem.
Yes.
The most I listen to any of this type of music is like Christmas time.
Sure.
It's all like 60s Christmas songs. That's when I listen to like Ray Charles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at sort of these other 60s soul people, Aretha Franklin,
Sure.
Nina Simone, Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, Four Tops.
Mm-hmm.
I like Four Tops, I guess. Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. That's like that song. And it's like, yeah.
I like
and
it.
you're sipping your milkshake.
Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. My girl.
You're like, God, things were better back then for all people. I wish I was back then when things were easier for everyone. Stupid ass. I will give this I'll give this a 6.5 because I wonder if I'd like stuff on his other albums more.
Yeah.
No reason, not that I don't like this, but it's like maybe like you're saying some of those where he's playing Mr. Sexy Man, he's playing the Love Guru or whatever.
I mean, it all basically sounds like this.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
just
I'll give this a 4.
No, I just mean like those are good. I think maybe those two, Love Man and what was the other one? The blue car, Tell the Truth.
Yeah.
Just as far as like they're more fun, those might be better. But I would suggest to anyone if you liked this, listen to the live at Whiskey A Go Go or any of the live albums, because that is where like you can just feel the energy, and they're playing every song at 1 trillion beats per minute for some reason, and he's doing like he does Satisfaction. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. He does covers and stuff, and it's like that sounds cool this way, and you're in the crowd listening to someone doing something different, and it feels special. So I think and he sounds awesome. Like he sounds better than the albums, or as good, you know. It's like this guy's he had it.
It's
I give the album a 7.
okay.
I think it's good. Some songs I like better than others on this album, but I think it's a good little starter kit for getting into Otis.
If you don't want to listen to the very best of Otis Redding,
Yeah,
that would also be a good starter kit.
Yeah, I mean there are like 8 trillion the best of.
Yeah.
Like
You got to pump them out.
but they're kind of all the same collection of songs.
Well, yeah, because he died 45 years ago or whatever.
Well, I know, but it's like that's what I don't get about redoing best ofs.
Yeah.
It's like, what else are you gonna put on there?
I don't know.
It's
just
the
said that.
same 20 songs.
Now let me look at this.
Okay.
February 7th, 2025.
Yes.
Last month they put out an EP.
Mm-hmm.
Have you listened?
Well,
My Girl Mono.
no, because
I've been loving you too long. Try a little tenderness. Stand by me. Is that the?
Go ahead and play it.
These arms of mine, and that's how strong my love is.
Yeah, they put out a little for Valentine's,
But why this year?
just because.
Keep the
So
butter
you would
rolling
click
in.
on it.
When the night
Come on.
has come and the land is dark, and the moon
And the moon.
is the only light we've seen.
Come on. Wouldn't you rather listen to this version?
Yeah, than us.
No, be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
So you put this on, right?
You start wooing your sim.
Yeah, you start whining and dining them. Oh.
And My Girl, you know that song, of course.
Yeah. I'm not going to play it.
No.
I know it.
Yeah.
Serious. This one's in mono.
Yeah.
So
That's what
awesome.
I get on Valentine's Day
Right.
after I be kissing, listening to Oat,
Yeah.
the big Oat man.
Sorry, I can't come in. I got mono.
So that's Otis Redding, and
that's
a
awesome.
new little avenue for us to go down on this show. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So tell me what we're doing next, please.
Well, we talked about some stuff that changed my mind. I was
Change
going-
my mind.
Okay, Mr. Crowder.
This is Joey. Change my mind.
Otis Redding is not a guy. Change my mind.
Change my mind.
He's not a person that lived. So, what do we do? I said I had something in mind, and now I've changed it. So now I'm scrambling in my little brain. Just put that right there. And I think I'm going to go back to what we talked about with little people that take a little something from another group of people and get us deeper into the well.
We doing Randy Newman,
Yeah.
short people,
We're doing, yeah.
little people.
Short people guy. And so we are all just on board with I Love LA is a good song about LA at this
Yeah,
point.
he's
right?
not joking. Yeah, we'll just keep using it.
We'll just keep using it not only at the baseball game but for the fires. Look
Yeah.
at that homeless man down there.
Just like Fortunate Son is a pro-America, pro-war song.
Born in the USA. All these people are just
Yeah.
brain
That's
dead.
when we're talking about, like, now everyone's looking too deep into stuff. There's a sweet spot between you're looking too deep into Adam Scott's like Instagram post to see if he's revealed something in Severance, and you're not looking deep enough into Born in the USA,
Right.
to realize he's talking about you being
Yeah.
an idiot.
And you don't even have to look that hard. Just listen to the lyrics.
Well, yes,
It's like
I just
reading
mean-
a sheet of paper.
There's but I think they're both equally like media illiterate.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, this person's not smart because they're looking that deep.
Mm-hmm.
They're also stupid.
Yeah.
There's the right way to look at stuff, and then there's the wrong way. And everyone else is wrong, and we're right.
Exactly. And that's why we're going to go with a group of now people in the UK.
Hey!
Loved Miss.
Righto, we did cheerio.
They love Mr. Redding.
In it.
And this came out in 68.
68.
And of
One
course,
less than 34 plus 35.
there were 4 lovable lads,
Yes.
right? From Birmingham who loved the blues music. And 4 years after this album came out, because I said, well, first we're talking about White Man Steel, right? And how now we're not allowed to say that.
Right?
And then we're also talking about, and can I say that? Oh, don't cancel me. Shut up.
It's kind of fun that we're back as being the subculture, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Because that is punk rock.
Yeah.
We're back. Like, it didn't work, obviously.
Yeah.
Being nice didn't work and fighting for people's rights.
Yeah.
But you do get to be part of that movement again.
Now you're part of the underground again.
My children, if the earth does not scorch to the ground before I decide if I want to have one, right?
Yeah. You're only 26.
Right. Well, hey, to some people, they've had a whole...
That's a whole life.
But, you know, they might look at me and go, you're our generation's Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Because there's a picture of me getting arrested because I'm yelling at the guy in front of me at the boba tea place that's maybe talking to someone a little...
And
hey, you can't do that, man.
This is a picture of me
Arresting me.
arresting you because you really shouldn't be saying stuff like that at the boba tea place. You had that happen too? We gotta talk. I got into a fight with a lady.
You did?
Yeah. Anyway,
We got to do another podcast. This came out, and you also said, well, I said it's not just the time period; it's maybe the music. What around this time was I listening to when I was alive back then? This came out in '68.
Yes.
A band formed in '68. 4 years later, they put out an album.
Oh,
1972, I believe.
That's
is
4 years after.
album
yeah.
we're gonna do. They formed the year this came out.
Okay.
So they must have went close enough. Welcome back, Otis Redding. And these four guys got together, and in 1972 they put out their fourth album, titled Volume 4. Oh! And they're back this year to do their final show.
Yes.
With their lead singer, who will not be standing up for the performances. Oh! It's Audubon!
Jum-bum. Jum-bum. Jum-bum.
But his band, Black Sabbath,
Yeah.
the yellow one.
Black Sabbath, the yellow one.
The yellow one, Volume 4. We'll be covering it next week, so get ready for it. Get out your little mirrors that you do stuff on with your credit cards. Oh!
Not into the mic.
Every other time I don't speak into the mic.
Well.
Bye.
Each week we listen to an album, here's our mind. Just know it's gonna take about 3 hours of your time to hear us complain or praise each other's taste. But no matter what, at the end of the day, we're just best friends who love different music. We are earbuds, earbuds, earbuds. This is Earbuds.